The Tampa Bay Buccaneers refused to let their season die quietly. In a game filled with tension, rain, and playoff pressure, Tampa Bay survived, not thrived, but survived just enough to keep their NFC South hopes alive. A 16-14 win over the Carolina Panthers doesn't sound dramatic on paper, but trust me, this one had everything. Welcome to TrendFeed Daily, where the biggest stories in sports break down fast, loud, and real. Let's get into it. This was never going to be pretty football. The weather was rough, the stakes were massive, and both teams knew one mistake could end their season. From the opening kickoff, it was clear this game would be about grit, not style points. Tampa Bay struck first with a long, methodical drive capped off by Baker Mayfield finding tight end Cade Otton in the end zone. No fireworks, just execution. The Buccaneers followed that up with field goals, slowly building a lead without ever truly pulling away. And that's where the tension set in. Because Carolina? They never went away. Bryce Young didn't light up the stat sheet, but he stayed composed. Every drive felt like it could swing the entire NFC South. One bad throw, one missed tackle, one penalty. That's how thin the margin was. By halftime, Tampa Bay had the edge, but no one watching felt comfortable, especially not the Bucs. The Panthers' defense tightened in the second half, forcing Tampa Bay to settle for field goals instead of touchdowns. And in games like this, that's dangerous. You leave the door open and eventually someone walks through it. Late in the fourth quarter, that door flew open. Bryce Young led Carolina down the field and delivered a clutch touchdown pass that made it a 2-point game. Suddenly, everything changed. The Panthers had momentum. The Buccaneers had nerves. And the entire NFC South was holding its breath. From there, it became survival football. Tampa Bay leaned on their defense, forcing Carolina into long third downs and desperate throws. Every snap felt like it took a year off someone's life. The rain, the noise, the pressure, playoff football without the playoff label. When the final whistle blew, the Buccaneers had escaped. Not dominated. Escaped. 16-14. Season's still alive. But here's where it gets wild. This one didn't clinch anything. Tampa Bay finished the regular season at 8-9, tied with Carolina. That means the NFC South title now comes down to another game, Saints versus Falcons. And yes, that means the Buccaneers are now rooting for the Saints, something no Tampa Bay fan ever thought they'd say out loud. If New Orleans beats or ties Atlanta, Tampa Bay wins the division and punches a playoff ticket. If Atlanta wins? Chaos. A three-way tie that sends Carolina to the top based on tiebreakers. So after all of that effort, Tampa Bay's fate is officially out of their hands. And that's what makes this story so compelling. This wasn't a dominant team cruising into January. This was a flawed, scrappy group refusing to let the season end on their watch. Baker Mayfield didn't play perfect football, but he played winning football. The defense bent, but didn't break. Special teams mattered. Discipline mattered. Every small thing mattered. Meanwhile, Carolina walks away with heartbreak. For the first time in years, the Panthers were playing meaningful late-season football, and they were inches away from controlling their own destiny. Bryce Young showed growth. The defense showed fight. But the rushing game disappeared when they needed it most, and that ultimately sealed their fate. This game perfectly sums up the NFC South in 2025. Messy. Unpredictable. Chaotic. And somehow still entertaining. Now, all eyes turn to Sunday. Buccaneers fans will be watching the Saints like never before. Panthers fans will be rooting for Atlanta. And the entire division will be decided without Tampa Bay or Carolina even stepping on the field. That's football. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more NFL chaos, playoff drama, and must-see moments, make sure you comment your thoughts below, subscribe to TrendFeed Daily, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story when it breaks. Who do you think wins the NFC South? Drop it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.